was 5 years old, I was diagnosed with this disease of my heart, and the doctor said I would never play any sports. If I got my heart rate above 100, I would die. My skin looked like an alligator. My eyes were bloodshot. I had sores all over me. All my fingernails and toenails fell off. And the doctor said I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do that. And my mom looked at all these doctors and said, it doesn't matter what you say, my Jesus is going to heal them.
Right.
2 weeks later, I got healed. 10 years later, I'm playing football. 15 years later, I'm playing high school football. 17 years later, I get a full football scholarship. 19 years later, I play for the NFL. So, oops, the doctors were wrong. Jesus was right.
That's quite the testimony, right? Matt Rogers has worn many hats in his life, but he never fails to give back. You may recognize him from his time as a finalist on American Idol, or hosting Deadliest Catch, The Bait on the Discovery Channel, or as a PA announcer for the Titans NFL team. His newest hat involves hitting the road with the LIV Golf League as part of their introduction team. President Trump is fond of hosting some of their tournaments at his resorts. Joining us now to discuss is evangelist and professional announcer Matt Rogers. Matt, thanks so much for being here tonight.
Oh, Kara, that was awesome. What a great intro. Thank you so much. That was great.
Well, I really appreciate you making time for us. I know you're busy. Like I said, you wear many, many hats. I mean, your career, it's stretched so far. So there's so much I want to ask you about. But first, that testimonial, right? You know, I talk about faith a lot on the show. I'm Christian, you're Christian. If you'd like to share with our audience what you were talking about in that clip and also how it's affected your life up till now, just whatever you'd like to say, because I love these testimonials, right? It ggets me every time. So I know our audience loves these too.
No, that makes me happy. Thank you so much for that opportunity, because, you know, not a lot of people, you know, when it comes to faith and healing, sometimes people shy away from that stuff because they've had a different experience. So they kind of put God in a box of, you know, well, sometimes God doesn't because this and this and this, and they'll list all their excuses on why God doesn't heal based off of their own experiences. Well, you know, you'll never find that in the life of Jesus. And he's the one that we're following. So if it wasn't Jesus's experience, I don't want it to be my experience. So I never lower the gospel to my experience. Instead, what I try to do when I'm going through bad stuff is I try to raise my experience to the word of truth until that gets acted out. So that testimony, at a young age, Jesus became my hero because he healed me of something that, you know, doctors said wouldn't happen. And then, you know, as you saw in the testimony, I got healed from that. And the crazy thing is, 27 years later, I would have our second son. His name's Mason. We have 4 now. And he was born with a rare genetic disease called cystic fibrosis. It's a chronic lung and pancreas disease. Currently, there is no cure. But I took a play out of my mom's playbook, and I said to the doctors, it don't matter what you say, my Jesus is going to heal him. And he's going to celebrate his 17th birthday next week. They said at 2 years old, he'd be on a feeding tube. He'll never do this, 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 and this. And he just finished his first year of varsity football. And so I'm watching God do the same miracle through my son that he did for me. And it's awesome. But I'll just end with, you know, there were some trying times that come through that. And I look at it this way, man, you know, healing sometimes is a street fight and the devil doesn't fight fair. But I would just encourage anybody, no matter what you're going through, don't ever accept like, well, this is just God's plan for me or my lot in life. No, if you didn't see it in Jesus's life, go after it because you have a promise. And that's the way I was brought up.
No, I love that so much, and I've seen God work in my own life, right? It's something I was actually thinking about a lot this morning, just driving into work and thinking about how God has manifested himself in my life in such very tangible ways, and I love hearing that in your life as well. And I know so many people out there as well. It provides so much hope, right? Especially in a world that sometimes feels so hopeless. But, you know, so much has happened, you know, from the diagnosis that you received as a young child. We heard about your sports journey, but also you're in the world of reality TV. I mean, you're on the Discovery Channel, you're a big time host, you're announcing for major sports teams. How did you transition into that world?
So the big aha moment for me was when I was a finalist on American Idol. And when I got voted off, I finished number 11 on season 3. That was the year Fantasia won. So I was standing around like, I'm looking at Jennifer Hudson, you know, LaToya London, Diana DeGarmo, and I'm like, I can't do that. You know what I mean? Like, they're incredible singers. But when I got voted off, Ryan Seacrest, Simon Cowell, all the producers, they were so kind to me. And I said, Ryan, I want to do what you do, man. Like, I love people. I love the camera. The only thing that really gave me that feeling of marching out on a football field in front of 100,000 people is, Kara, when that little red light goes on and like it's go time. That's what TV has always done for me. So Ryan helped me. He gave me my first job after American Idol. And then, just treating people well, doing your homework, studying, showing up, and knowing what you're doing, God will open doors for you that no one can shut.